Dharma, are we live?
Yes, you are live now.
Okay.
Get started.
Good afternoon, one and all participants present here today. We are on the second day of our series, and today's topic is regulatory requirement for export of food products. So for this, it's a wide topic regarding what all foods we have to regulate, or what are the laws we have to compliance with, and many more things. So today's guest of honor is Sunil Shinde, sir. He's an assistant director at Export Agency Inspection Agency in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in Government of India. So on the behalf of all food techies, I would like to thank sir for giving the valuable time.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Proful, thank you.
Yes,
First of all, I thank Food Techie Group for arranging this excellent program and excellent web series webinars for the betterment of the students.
yes.
Today I'm covering the regulatory requirement for export of the food products. So this is, as you say, this is the wide topic.
Yes, sir.
And so many stakeholders are involved in the regulatory process. The regulatory requirement varies according to the importing country requirement. So this is a wide topic. So today, as you informed me, the most of the attendees are students. So today we'll cover the basic regulatory requirements which are involved in the export of the food product.
Yes,
So
sir.
can we start?
Sir, I would like to ask a single particular question. Can you state the journey after your college till today's position?
Yeah, Praful, actually, I'm food technologist. I did my food technology from College of Agriculture Technology, Marathwada Agriculture University, Parbani. I passed out in 2001. So almost
Okay.
8 years I was in food processing industry, worked with various processing industries like Chodia Group, Reliance, Safest Company. And from 2012 onward, I am with Export Inspection Agency. I started my career in Export Inspection Agency from Cochin office. So my first posting was in Cochin. After that, I was in
Okay.
Mumbai, and now presently I am working in Nellore, Andhra Pradesh.
Okay, sir. So let's start with the session then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so good afternoon, all students and all participants. Uh, the content of the today's webinar is on your screen. First, we'll go to the introduction to the regulatory system, then export procedures. In that, what are the major terms or definitions used in the export that we will see. Then, what are the steps involved in the export of food product? When you are going to start new business, what are the requirements? That also we'll cover. And then mode of transport in export, you might be during your study, you might be gone through it. Then container load and types of container, and finally we'll touch our main topic, that is regulatory requirement for export. The first four are just first four contents are introduction purpose to get acquainted all the participant with the export process. So this is any regulatory system, whether it is in India or any other country. The basic of the regulatory system or the objective of the any regulator is to market or export safe and wholesome food products. The prime responsibility to produce this safe and wholesome food product, it lies with the manufacturer or the exporter who is exporting this food product. As you know, regulatory decision making process is very scientific. So many scientific panels are there to for deciding the any specification or standards for any food product, and the government or authorized government agencies are having responsibility of enforcement. Manufacturer, distributor, exporter, and other are expected to comply requirement and face liability for non-compliances. So this is just a glimpse of food control system in India. In India, we are having multiple competent authorities, say for uh, export, Export Inspection Council of India under Ministry of Commerce and Industry is the competent authority for export of the food product. For import and domestic, FSI, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India is the competent authority. So if you want to do export of notified commodity, license certification from Export Inspection Council is required. The law of land, what is the law of land? Though you are 100% export unit, or if you are exporting only export business, not in a domestic business, still you have to obtain license from the FSI. What is the law of land say? No person shall manufacture, sell, stock, distribute, transport, or exhibit for sale any article of food, including prepared, ready to serve, or irradiated food products, under a license or registration by, except under a license from FSI. This slide is about the national and international food safety or quality regimes. So many international bodies are involved uh, in the quality and food safety. That is FSI, FAO, Export Inspection Council, WHO, WTO, Codex, OIE. OIE is the World Organization for Animal Health, that is OIE, and IPPC. IPPC is the International Plant Protection Convention. Uh, then SPC and TBT. SPC, TBT is sanitary and phytosanitary measures, and TBT is technical barrier to trade. This is covered under the World Trade Organization. Consumer safety is the prime importance for all these food safety and quality regimes. And fair trade practice, in fair trade practice is fraudulent or adulteration. These things are covered. Nationalism. Now we'll turn to what is the requirement of India. The primary responsibility of manufacturing safe and wholesome produce lies with the manufacturer or exporter. In many countries like European Union, USA, there is a single competent authority for export, import, and domestic. But in India, we are having multiple competent authorities. These competent authorities, as I told, this is FSI. It is for domestic and import of food, and EIC for export. Also, certain promotional bodies or certain commodity board are also involved in this. That are the APEDA, Spices Board, Tea Board, Coffee Board. So there are almost 36 different types of export promotion bodies and commodity boards. So out of these 36, I think 7 to 8 are related to food products only. Remaining are non-food products. So now just we'll see how export procedure is there, how to export food products from India, what are the steps involved in this export procedure. Before that, I would like to go through this some terms or definition which are used in the export business. First, almost all students might be knowing export. What is the meaning of export? To send an atom or goods or service or idea from one country to another country for selling purpose. That is the export. Import is nothing but to bring inside the country, to bring in goods, service, or ideas. Consignments. Now, this consignment terminology is regularly used in the export business. And the consignment is nothing but this is the total quantity of good which an exporter simultaneously exports to the same consignee via same mode of transport from same port. Uh, Consignment may varies from 1 kg to may a few hundred of metric ton or 500 metric ton. The quantity may vary. Some exporters are sending it in metric tons. Some goods we export in numbers. So regulatory body, what is the regulatory body? Now, a regulatory body is the public organization or government agency that is set up to exercise a regulatory function. These regulatory bodies are set up by Government of India. Uh, this regulatory function involves imposing requirements or standards, condition or restrictions, setting the standards for activities and enforcing these areas for obtaining compliances. Regulation. Regulation is the rule or order having the force of law prescribed by a superior or competent authority relating to the action of those under the authority control. So what the regulations are only set by the designated competent authority. Say for food related regulation in India, only FSI is the competent authority. For other products, different organizations are there, say for law and order, home ministry or police department is there. It's like that. So some documents which are involved in the export business are, these are the three main important documents. One is invoice. Invoice, it is the document issued by a seller to buyer. It is nothing but the bill. When you purchase anything from any supermarket, you get the receipt or bill. That is called invoice. So this invoice contains the product name, quantity, and the value of good, etc. In certain invoices, terms and conditions for export or terms and conditions for trade is also mentioned. Payment terms. Uh, it is prepared as per a mutual understanding between buyer and seller. Then bill of lading. Bill of lading is a document issued by a carrier or transporter or their shipping agent to acknowledge the receipt of the consignment or cargo for shipment. So when you send your 10th, say 1000 kg of any spices uh, by ship, when that ship or that transporter or shipping agent receives that good, he issued a bill of lading. This is the acknowledgement slip. Then shipping bill. Shipping bill or bill of export is the main document required by custom authority for allowing shipment. A shipping bill is issued by the shipping agents. In this shipping bill of lading, it like invoice, it contains the product name, quantity, their HS code, and other details. But bill of lading never having the value of the consignment. But shipping bill is the having contains the value of the consignment, whether how much dollar, how much rupees. So based on shipping bill, this is very important document for the payments and required by the bank and required by many government authorities for providing subsidy. Now for what are the steps involved in the export business? When anybody want to start the export business, these are the basic steps involved in that. First, you have to choose the form of business, whether you want to establish your proprietorship business, partnership business, or you want to start private limited company, public limited company, or LLP, LLC. Then you have to choose whether which type of exporter you want to be. There are two, in general there are two types of exporter, manufacturer exporter, and merchant exporter. Manufacturer exporter is the one who is having his own manufacturing facility, and merchant exporter is nothing but the trader. Merchant exporters are not having their own manufacturing facility. They are taking the food product from any manufacturer and exporting. So this is the main difference between manufacturer exporter and merchant exporter. Uh, the third steps involved in this, you have to obtain the import export code. This import export code, the Director General of Foreign Trade (DGFT) is issuing this IEC code. Um, you know, no need to submit any document physically. You can obtain this IEC code online. You have to go to the DGFT portal, that is dgft.gov.in. Their link is available for obtaining this IEC code, and this is also very important code. This is like your PAN number for your export or import. For starting any export import business, this is the basic document. Uh, then fourth step involved in this is register with the Export Promotion Council. There are so many, I told there are around 36 different promotional councils or community boards are there. Depending on your product, you have to register with Export Promotion Council, and you have to obtain RCMC. RCMC is the registration cum membership certificate. You have to become member also. This is required in many cases. This is required to obtain the subsidies and all. Then whether you are manufacturer exporter or merchant exporter, FSI license, as per law of land, you have to obtain FSI license. That is actually the fifth step. That and the fifth is the Export Inspection Council. When your consignment is ready or your food product is ready for export, now this step starts. So depending on your product, you have to obtain health certificate or inspection certificate of origin from Export Inspection Council of India. So these certificates are required by importing country for the clearing your export consignment. So depend on product, different certificates are there. Requirements are also varies according to country, and according to the product. So this is fifth. This certification process and all we will see in the next slides. How Export Inspection Council works, what are their objective, and how they certify the products. Then you have to hire one freight forwarder. Hire a freight forwarder, final the rate, and then the proceed further. This freight forwarder are nothing but your shipping agents. I mean your transporters. Then you have to prepare one Proforma invoice. Proforma invoice. After the initial discussion with the buyer, the exporter need to send the Proforma invoice. This Proforma invoice contain your product name, your product quantity, and other terms and condition. Once buyer confirm this Proforma invoice, then further you have to prepare the commercial invoice. Generally, in all export trade, Proforma invoice, after confirming only Proforma invoice, commercial invoice is prepared. This is your final commercial invoice is a final invoice. The commercial invoice should be prepared after the confirmation from the buyer on the export order. The next process is you have to obtain the AD code. AD code with any scheduled commercial banks. AD code helps to check whether export proceeds have been realized or not. The next 10th step is shipping instructions. Shipping instructions are furnished by the freight forwarder after they are apprised of the various aspects of the shipment. Then along with invoice, you have to prepare packing list. Packing list, it contains the atom-wise packing content. Custom authorities may check the goods based on the packing list provided. Uh, this packing list is the supporting document for the invoice. This packing list, say in one invoice, if you are sending 5 items of a different weight, say 50-gram pouch is there, 200-gram pouch is there, 1 kg pouch is there. This packing list contain product-wise detail, quantity, and weight. The next is once your consignment reaches to your port, the shipping bill is issued. Shipping bill is generated when commercial bill, PL, or other documents are submitted. The act can be done either yourself, means either by exporter or by custom house agents. Once assessing officer is satisfied, then the assessing officer means the custom officer who is the authorized person in the, appointed by the government of India. That are generally custom officers only. They will verify all the things and they will allow the exporter to stuff the consignment. So next is stuffing or loading of the container in the vessel. The loading of the goods into the ship is done under the supervision of the custom authorities. Then after loading of the consignment, bill of lading is the issue. In the definition of bill of lading, I told you this is the issued by the carrier of the vessel after goods are loaded. This bill of lading specifies the name of the good, mode of the transport, mode of the payment, packing content, etc. So this is very important document in export process. Then last is the export general manifesto. The shipping line or its agent furnish export general manifesto to the custom house. The EGM is the final confirmation of the physical export of the good. This also helps in the sanction of duty drawbacks. So this is the brief procedure for export. In between also there are so many steps involved, small steps involved. So no, at this moment, no need to go into the details of that. So you might be studying this. What are the modes of transport for the export business? These are the mainly 6 modes of transport. One is by rail, water, or by second is water or by sea, road pipe by pipeline, air, and multimodal. Food commodity, all the food commodities mostly are shipped through via water or rail transport or road transport or air. The rail and road transport generally happens in between the landlocked countries, the countries which don't have the seaport, or which the countries which are on neighboring. If we are exporting anything to Bangladesh or Nepal, it is sending by road or rail only. Air transport for smaller quantities, air transport is okay, but here the main drawback of the air transport, it is very costly. The cheapest one is the water transport or the sea transport. Pipeline transport, generally it is used for the transporting of the uh, petroleum products or oils, gases, and multimodal transport. Generally use these terms is used in the landlocked countries. If the transport is happening by more than 2 or 3 modes, it is called as multimodal transport. Then what are the different types of container or different types of load during the export? This FCL means full container load. If the exporter want to export say 20 metric ton or 40 metric tons of its food product, then he can go for full container load. And LCL is less container load for part shipment or lesser quantity. exporter want to do say 100 kg or 500 kg shipment, in that LCL is opted. So these are the different type of containers used in the export business. This is the dry van. Most it is suitable for all non-perishable foods like spices, say some confectionery products or biscuits or pulses, cereal. Generally, dry vans are used. Reefer vehicles are required for perishable goods like fruits and vegetable, meat products, fishery products. All all these consignment are shipped by reefer vehicles. This the temperature of reefer vehicle is also varies from say uh, 8 degrees Celsius to minus 20 degrees Celsius. All fishery and meat products are exported at below minus 18 degrees Celsius. Food products, it is exported in between 0 to 8 degrees Celsius. These tanks and next is the tanks and tanks. This tank export generally not used in food products, only for certain crude oils it is used, and others mostly are other types of containers are generally not used. This is not used for food product, that is flat rack, open top or open side types of container. Now we'll go to our main topic, that is regulatory requirement for the export. So in India, there are multiple competent authorities for export trade. Uh, for export, pre-shipment inspection, sampling, testing, and certification, these activities are done by the Export Inspection Council. For import, FSI is the competent authority. For import consignment, they are doing sampling, testing, transportation, and sale. They are the authorized person. That testing, in case of import, testing is done in the FSI approved laboratory. In case of for export, testing is done in EIC laboratories as well as EIC approved laboratories. And for domestic products also, processing, testing, storage, transportation, sale, all these activities are governed by the FSI, or for some product BIS is also responsible. So in export business, various promotional bodies or commodity boards are involved. The main objective of these promotional bodies or commodity board is to promote the food product in the international market. Uh, Mostly these promotional bodies or commodity boards, they are not doing regulatory function. For export, regulatory function is done by EIC. And most of these bodies are under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. So there are almost these are the functions and objective of the export development authorities or commodity boards. Uh, these commodity boards or export development authorities, they are the marketing department of the government of India. Like in any company, marketing department is there. That company's product is marketed by that marketing department. In the same way, the Indian food products or Indian products intended for exports are marketed by these commodity boards and export development authorities. And so what are the main functions of these commodity boards are to advise government of India on the policy matters such as fixing quotas for export of the commodity, entering into new trade agreements with foreign countries, etc. Second main function is undertaking promotional activities such as participation in the exhibition, trade fairs, opening of foreign offices abroad for the marketing of Indian products, conducting market surveys, sponsoring trade delegates, etc. Promoting the consumption of commodity in their jurisdiction, opening branch office and opening the branch offices in the foreign country. So many of these commodity boards are having their branch offices in foreign countries also. For example, Spices Board, Marine Product Export Development Authority. These commodity boards are having their branch office in the foreign countries, and their main objective is to promote that respective commodity in that country. Then the next function is resolving all problems related to the commodities in their jurisdiction, undertaking research activities to develop production and marketing activity within that country. Some commodity boards have their research units. Example of this is Central Coffee Research Institute, the commodity board responsible for this is Coffee Board. Rubber Board is having Rubber Research Institute. Coir Board is having Coir Research Institute. And next is for the final main sixth function is imparting skill development training to the workers, engaging in the production of the commodity concern. So these promotional bodies, they are providing training to workers, not only workers, to the exporters also. They are organizing various training programs on importing country requirements for export, how to uh, trade trade your product into the international market. Also, they are organizing these buyer-seller meets in India as well as in foreign countries also. So this is the list of all export development authorities or commodity boards presently functioning in the India. There are 36 commodity boards. Out of these 36, 7 are responsible for the uh, export promotion of the food product. These 7 are namely this Agriculture and Processed Food Product Development Authority, that is APEDA. Then it's Cashew Export Promotion Council of India, uh, Coffee Board, Coconut Development Board, then Indian Oilseed and Produce Exporter Association. This is a response. They are responsible of promoting oil seeds. Then Marine Product Export Development Authority. Marine Product Export Development Authority. They are mainly responsible for marine product, that is like shrimps, fishes, mollusk and all. Then Spices Board, for promotion of spices. Spices Board is there. Tea Board. Among these, there is APEDA, or Agriculture and Processed Food Product Export Development Authority. These boards are handling most of the food commodities which we are handling in our day-to-day life. So they are responsible for these meat products, also eggs products, milk and milk products, fruit products, certain cereal pulses, confectionery products. Cashew Promotion Board is only responsible for cashew products. Coconut Development Board, coconut responsible for only coconut products. So out of 36 different export development authorities or commodity boards, 7 are pertaining to food. Now we'll see the main regulatory body which is responsible for the regulating export trade. That is Export Inspection Council of India. It is under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. This is established in 1963 by the Act of Parliament, that is under the Export Quality Control and Inspection Act 1963. The main objective of the EIC, or the forming this Export Inspection Council is the sound development of export trade through quality control and inspection. The strength of EIC, this is the only official certification body having no conflict of interest. What is the conflict of interest? The conflict of interest when, say, I am exporting any product to USA, and if I am funding that exporter in different way, their conflict of interest can. So EIC is not giving any subsidies or any financial aid to any exporters. EIC main function is uh, for sound development of export trade through quality control and inspection. We are doing only quality control, inspection, and certification activities, not promotional activities. What are the powers under this Export Act? Uh, to notify the commodities. Notifying commodity means once if certain commodity is having any quality or food safety issues in any of the importing country, then Government of India EIC uh, takes action on this and advise Government of India that this commodity rejection of this commodity in the international market is more, and if rejection is not reduced, may that country might be banned in that product might be banned in the importing country. So then Government of India notifies that commodity. Once commodity is notified for export, mandatory quality control and inspection is required for that commodity. For example, I will give you example of peanut and peanut product in around 2010-11. Uh, Rejection of peanut was more in European countries and Malaysia. The issue, the main issue for this is the aflatoxin. Due to higher aflatoxin, many consignments of the peanuts got rejected in European Union. After that, Government of India notified that, and it came under the mandatory quality control and inspection. So for now, if anybody want to export any peanut or peanut product, mandatory sampling, inspection, and testing shall be done for the aflatoxin and moisture content before the export. After that, EIC is issuing certificate of inspection and health certificate for peanut, and based on that certificate only, European Union or Malaysia clears that import consignment. Then second power under the act is to specify the type of quality control. Once the commodity is notified, the which quality control measures are required, that also EIC uh, EIC is doing the setting the quality control standards, specification for that commodity, and inspection procedures for that commodity. The next power is to establish or adopt or recognize or that standard. Then next power is to prohibit the export if not meeting the importing country requirement. So in many cases, if any food commodity is not meeting the importing country requirement, then we are not allowing that commodity to export. For example, again I will give example of chili. Chili is also sensitive for this aflatoxin and Sudanda. So many importing countries are asking this test report for this aflatoxin and Sudanda. In European countries, the requirement for this is 5 ppb for aflatoxin B1 and 10 ppb for aflatoxin, total aflatoxin. If during testing, if we found the values are more than 10 ppb, then we are not allowing chili products to export. Then next is to power to create infrastructure for quality control and inspection. So under this act, EIC is having power to set up a new quality control laboratory or to start new export inspection agency office at at location wherever it is required. Then power to obtain information from the exporter, power to enter and inspect food business facilities, power to search food business. In case of doubt, EI and EIC officers are having power to search also, then power to seize commodity if any commodity is not meeting requirement and posing more health hazard, then we have power to seize that commodity also, and power to seize conveyance. Power to seize conveyance means any uh, transport vehicles, and then power to make rules and delegation of the powers. So what are the major function of EIC? So the major function, there are almost 7 to 8 major functions. Uh, the first is we are approving the food processing establishment unit based on FSMS to ensure the quality and food safety of that food commodity, which is meant for export as per importing country standards. So whenever EIC is approving any establishment, we are checking whether as per importing country requirement, as per international standards, uh, that establishment is having all the facilities or not. Then next major function is pre-shipment inspection and certification based on consignment-wise inspection. So this certification process we are doing in two categories. That is FSMS based and CWI based. FSMS means Food Safety Management System based. In that we are approving the establishment. Once establishment is approved, we are regularly visiting the establishment for inspection, and we are drawing sample from there. And once we get confidence that this establishment has meeting all the international standards, we are certifying that establishment and certifying their products also. Uh, and next is CWI, that is consignment wise inspection. In this, mandatory approval of the establishment is not required. First one, that is FSMS based approval is required only for the notified commodities. With the notified commodity list, I will share you in the next slide what are the notified commodities. And this CWI inspection is required for non-notified commodities. For example, some spices are not notified, that is, which are low risk products, spices, then bakery products, certain confectionery product, pulses, cereals. These are not notified, and it comes under consignment wise inspection. Third major function is issuance of preferential certificate of origin for export product under the various free trade tariff scheme. So this certificate of origin, this is one commercial document. After producing this certificate, when any exporter obtain this certificate of origin, he send this certificate of origin to his buyer, and the overseas buyer produce this certificate of origin to the custom authority of the importing country, and based on that, they are getting some import duty benefit. So this is very important commercial document, certificate of origin. Then next function is the issuance of different types of certificates. That is health certificate, authenticity certificate. Authenticity certificate we are issuing to the only basmati rice, and European Union required this authenticity certificate for basmati rice. Then non-GMO certificate, and under various export certification scheme. Almost we are having 12 to 15 different type of export certification scheme, that is varies product to product. Then recognition of the inspection agencies and the laboratories. We are also recognizing private inspection agencies and the laboratories. This private inspection agencies, we are only recognizing for the minerals, iron ores, and laboratories we are recognizing for the uh, uh, testing of the food products meant for export. Then we are also participating in the residue monitoring plan as per the importing country requirements. Residues like say pesticide residues, antibiotic residues in say pesticide residues in plant product, antibiotic residues in animal products, we are regularly monitoring, and as per the instructions or as per our sampling schedule, we are regularly drawing samples from the export establishment for monitoring of the residues. And these residues we are these food products we are testing in our laboratory uh, for residue content. Then we are also conducting training and capacity building of the industry and other stakeholders in the areas of the quality and food safety system. So in previous slide, I told you commodity boards are also taking training of the exporter uh, on different on different subjects, but we are taking this training on the matters pertaining to quality and food safety issues. Then we are also monitoring TPT notification by WTO member countries and their impact on the Indian trade. These are the major function of the EIC. So these are the this is the list of notified commodities. These commodities are notified by Government of India, and mandatory quality control and inspection is required for these commodities before the export. So if any exporter want to export this product, uh, either they should have their own their plant, their food processing establishment shall be approved by EIC. Otherwise, for certain product, they can go or obtain certificate under consignment-wise inspection schemes also. So these major notified commodities are fish and fishery products, fruit products, honey, milk products, eggs products, poultry and poultry meat, feed additives and premixture, peanut and peanut products, animal casing, uh, dried fish, live fish, crushed bones, ocean and gelatin, basmati rice and non-basmati rice to EU, black pepper. This black pepper is notified for export to USA only, and bile molars, dried fish moss, and sprouting seeds. So this is so next slide is this slide is for the procedure for approval of your establishment under food safety management scheme. Let me tell you, in this F&FP product, milk product, eggs product, poultry meat, bivalve molars, for these commodities you cannot export the food until and unless your facility is approved by EIC. So mandatory food safety management system based certification is required for this commodity. Other commodities consignment wise you can obtain certificates under consignment wise inspection. What is the procedure for approval of the facility? The primary responsibility for meeting the health requirement of the importing country and also those specified in the Government of India notification lies with the processing establishment or exporter. The role of Export Inspection Council of India uh, or EIA is to exercise official control by approving the food processing establishment and implementing the effective surveillance system to ensure the compliance to requirement as per GO Government of India notification and as well as importing country. The establishment, the basic for approving the main requirement, that food processing company should have HACCP-based process control on and to maintain certain records. So the establishment which want EI approval, first they have to apply along with the requisite document to export inspection uh, agency. Then EI officials, they are scrutinizing the application. If any discrepancies are there in application, or if any documents are not provided, we are intimating to the exporter uh, and asking them to close all the discrepancies. Once they close all the discrepancies or non-conformities, then we EI officers along with the other government department we visiting that facility. Then we are forming this assessment for the assessment of the facility. We are forming assessment panel of expert. For example, if any fish and fishery product establishment want EIC approval, in that case, EI officer, Marine Product Export Development Officer, or CIFT. CIFT is the Central Institute for Fisheries Technology. These officials are forming one panel, and these around 2 to 3 officers are visiting the facility to check the compliance. And this for the most of notified commodities, uh, this assessment is done in the 2 stage. In first audit is to assess the infrastructure facility and other requirement, and second audit is HACCP audit. In this, we are seeing all the food safety, GMP, GSP, and in first audit, we are seeing the infrastructure facilities, whether as per requirement, all the machines, testing facilities available in the establishment or not. Uh, if first and second audit is satisfactory, then assessment panel of expert is recommending establishment for the approval. This approval is valid for 2 years, and ESE is issuing the certificate of approval to that establishment. Once this food processing establishment is approved, EI is doing regular surveillance of that establishment, and we are EI is following very robust surveillance system. That is, we are having 3-tier surveillance system. This more we are doing the monitoring visit of the establishment, that is surprised by a monitoring visit without intimating to the establishment. We are visiting that establishment and checking implementation of the regulatory requirement of the importing country as well as Government of India notification. The frequency of this monitoring visit is varies, and this monitoring visit is generally done by technical officer or assistant director level officer. During monitoring visit, we are also checking HACCP implementation, where EI officers are drawing samples, water sample, ice sample, and product sample, raw material sample for testing in the EI laboratory. The next type of generally the frequency of monitoring visit is once in a 3 months. Then next is the supervisory visit. Supervisory visit is done by the senior officer of the EI, and the main objective was this supervisory visit is to check the compliance with Government of India notification, importing country compliance, and again they are also this during supervisory visit, the quality of the monitoring carried out by the monitoring officer is also checked. Then the corporate audit. This corporate audit is done by Export Inspection Council, that Export Inspection Council that having office in the New Delhi. So, and the frequency of corporate audit is once in a year. Export Inspection Council is nominating certain officer, and during corporate audit, export the regional offices of the EIC EIC are thoroughly audited. Also, 5% of the total approved establishments are also visited by the during the corporate audit to check the compliances and the quality of the official control exercised by respective sub offices or regional offices. So this is the complete three-tier surveillance system. Uh, Export Inspection Council is also responsible for handling the complaint, importing country complaint or rejections from the importing country. So once if any product is rejected by the importing country on the basis of food safety ground, information come to EIC. This particular product from this exporter is rejected due to the food safety ground. Then we are having our uh, one robust complaint handling procedure, and accordingly we are following all the procedures. These are the steps involved in the complaint handling procedure. That RASAP or rejection. RASAP is rapid for food importing country complaint came. EIC is examining that complaint at EIC level. Then that respective food processing facility is placed on alert. In that we increase the frequency of monitoring. The general usual frequency of monitoring is once in a 3 months. Once any alert came, in that case we are visiting that facility twice in a month to check the compliance or corrective action taken by that establishment to overcome the food safety complaint. Then next 5 consignment, we are drawing the samples, 5 consignment or next 3 batches. We are drawing the sample for that particular parameter. Particular parameter means if any product is rejected on the for antibiotics in European Union, then respective parameter only we are checking in the or laboratory for next 5 consignment. And we are carrying out thoroughly root cause analysis. To carry out root cause analysis, again we are forming the interdepartmental panel or assessment panel of export, and we are visiting the establishment to find out the cause of the complaint. If during our visit or root cause visit, if result is satisfactory, then that exporter can continue the export. We are allowing them to export. Then if it is unsatisfactory, then we are issuing show cause notice to the exporter, and production and export suspend till corrective action is proper corrective action is taken by that exporter. RASAP, many countries are sending that consignment back to the India, that rejected consignment. Once consignment is rejected consignment reaches India, we are following these procedures. That written consignment we are inspecting. We are drawing sample from the rejected consignment, and we are testing all the parameter which are non-compliant. Then that sample is also drawn for the same master carton from where EU health authorities or importing country health authorities have drawn the sample. Then if the satisfactory codes are allowed for the export to country other than that country, if that particular parameter is allowed or if that particular parameter is within the limit of that country. If the result of the testing is unsatisfactory, then the consignment is rejected and we are asking the exporter to destroy the consignment. This is the EIC and EIN network, almost 23 of sub offices we are having across the India, and 4 main laboratories. We are having laboratories in Mumbai, Chennai, Cochin, and Kolkata. In Delhi, we are having a laboratory for testing the physical parameters of basmati and non-basmati rice. In other laboratories, we are testing all physical, chemical, and microbiological parameters of food products. Export inspection, council, we are having 4 regional headquarters. These regional headquarters are at Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and Cochin. Sorry, five regional headquarters. So this is about the export process. This is a brief about the export process. If anybody is having any question or any doubt, I request organizer to take all that queries or question.
Hello, sir. I'm back. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes. Yes.
Just a minute. I will turn on my webcam. Okay. Yeah, coming back from the session. This was a quite very interesting and interactive session, I guess. Very up to the point, and it was very good to see all the presentations, all the behind the curtains work in the export agencies and all. So meanwhile, I was interacting with some of our participants. We got some queries. I will list down some. Just give me a second. Yeah, I've taken this. Sorry. So first of all, the query is, why is a health certificate necessary in an export?
Why? Why is the health certificate necessary?
In an export.
Okay. The health certificate is the guarantee of the product about their safety and quality. This, and who is giving this guarantee? Competent authority of one country to the competent authority of another country. So this health certificate is required to clear your cargo. Health certificate states that your product, this product which is exported from India, is safe for human consumption. So for that purpose, health certificate is required. So
Okay.
if anybody is sending food product without health certificate, uh, that consignment might be detained at importing port or may be rejected in certain cases.
Okay, great. Next is, what is the testing done in AIC? EIC.
I told we are having 4 state-of-art laboratories in Chennai. We are testing all physical, chemical, microbiological parameter. In chemical, we are testing pesticides, antibiotics, and other chemicals. And microbiology, almost all microbiological parameters, we are testing TPC, E. coli, Salmonella, VC, VP, SA, Listeria.
Okay. Next is, how to join EIC for a food technologist.
Whenever requirement is there or vacancies are there, we are publishing advertise in major newspaper, as well as advertises published on our website also. Uh, Once your application is scrutinized, EIC is calling you for the uh, interview or written examination. Once you selected, you can join.
Okay. So is there a specific syllabus for the examination or just our basic food technology?
Yes, basic food technology, chemistry, microbiology.
Okay. Next is, what are the challenges faced while exporting food products by waterways?
Hello.
Hello.
What are challenges?
Faced while exporting via waterway.
Waterway.
Yeah.
Uh, Waterway is generally when it take long time. Uh, Water is the cheapest mode of the transport, and uh, the major challenges faced during the transport is many times your consignment is not traceable, and it takes almost certain countries it takes 1 month or 2 months also. So if you are having product with less shelf life and you are sending via water, then the available shelf life in the importing country is less. That issue also came. And during water transport, these vessels are not covered or and protected by rain. So if your container is leaked and you are having any powdered product, that your product may get damaged. In case of refer vehicle, if any temperature fluctuation come and product, if your requirement is minus 18 degrees Celsius, and and because of any issue, if temperature goes down to 0 degrees Celsius for 2 or 3 days, then product may get spoiled.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The major
Exactly.
challenge is
So
time.
yeah, it's delayed. So next question is, did the COVID pandemic affected the export import of the food products? Is there any new regulation accepted or approved and been followed while inspection?
Uh, because of COVID-19, export business is not affected majorly, because if you here I'm we're majorly looking after seafood business in Nellore office. So export
Okay.
consignments are going on only. The requirement is there in initial in the month of May. Some because of some issues, some importing countries, they have hold their demands, or overseas buyer they ask hold the consignment. But now it is regularized. Only establishments are facing problem of the labor. That challenge is there,
Okay. Yeah.
and there is
Mhm.
huh. And
Okay.
for
Okay.
the
Okay. Okay.
related to guidelines, FSI has already issued guidelines for food business operator for this how to handle this COVID-19 issues and in food processing establishment. So same procedure we are also following.
Okay. So next question is, can the common people who has started a small internship get help from the Export Development Authority?
Yes, yes. The main objective of export development authorities or these all promotional bodies is to help the exporter and to find out the market for the exporter. That is the main uh, that they can do. Yes, you
Okay.
say
Uh,
for
yeah.
if any establishment want to export spices, they have to approach spices board. For cashew, they have to approach cashew board. For fruit products and milk product or confectionery cereal pulses, they have to approach APEDA. So they will properly guide them how to start this export business and all. Next.
Okay. Next is whether BIS certification of the manufacturer is mandatory for import of condensed milk sweetened means a milk product. Is it important? Mandatory.
So actually that is not in my regime or under export inspection control. So I cannot say or cannot comment on that. Maybe FSI or BS
Okay.
may comment on that.
Okay. Do EIS do inspection of ideas as well? If yes, what are the parameters to be checked for ideas in food sector? Ideas.
No.
I'm
For
not
the
sure.
export, no. That export of ideas, in one PPT it is mentioned, but in export of ideas we are not having any role.
Linkage between. Okay. So I guess that's all with the question.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us here, sir. We are very glad that you gave us a very proper, important, and valuable knowledge. Like export is not so much taught at the academic level, and the export things are not been get knowledgeable by any kind of media or something. So we need a proper guidance from the authorities and all.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Here,
Thank you for giving
export.
us a valuable time.
Thank you, Proful, and your team for
Yes.
calling me for this session for the students.
Yes.
Maybe we will see in future also. I hope you will organize such kind of session, and I will also, if possible, I will also join. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. For the participants, the feedback link is in the description of the video. It will be there for the 1 hour more. So please give your valuable feedbacks so that it will be great for the improvement point of view. Thank you, sir.
Okay.